Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Coach Craig's Sports. Today is Tuesday, June 7th, and this is the MLB DFS video for today. So in today's video, we'll be going over a recap of yesterday's picks, seeing how they turned out, talking about my core picks for today for the FanDuel main slate. It is a 12-game main slate overall. And then I'll also be talking about my top GPP stacks for today's slate as well. It looks like my article is not published yet at the time of this recording, but once that is up, I'll leave a link to that down in the comments below as well. But without further ado, we'll get started with a recap of yesterday's picks. So originally we had Cal Quantrill at pitcher yesterday. That game got delayed. It looked like it was going to get rained out. It was a pretty crazy day yesterday. It looked like that Cincinnati game wasn't going to fire off, or it got delayed, but it did not end up getting postponed. So it was kind of a shock to a lot of people, but the Cleveland game did. And then Kansas City game kind of got delayed, and we didn't know if it was going to play or not yesterday. So it was a really, really crazy day yesterday. But if you kind of got stuck with some of the Toronto stuff like I did, because I was going to try to switch last minute, you probably ended up pretty well just because Bo Bichette homer, like a lot of different guys on that team did homer. So pretty decent day overall, but we ended up at Blake Snell at pitcher. That's a long way of saying that. $7,500. Got to 12 points, so he was a mess. Pitching yesterday altogether was not that great. Either you lucked into Michael Wacha or you didn't jump off at Cincinnati and you had Hunter Green and you turned out all right there. Those were the two guys that really paid off yesterday. Then we moved down to catcher Alejandro Kirk, $2,800, got to 9.2 points, so he was a hit yesterday. At second base, we had Jose Altuve, $3,600, 28.2 points. He was a hit in the top second baseman overall on yesterday's slate. And then we had Franchy Cordero in the outfield, $2,500. Kind of said he was, that boom bust guy, so he's either going to have a big day or probably an offer. Ended up on the offer side yesterday. So he had 0 points. He was a mess, and he went 0 for 4 yesterday. Then last but not least, we had George Springer, $4,000. Looked pretty good on paper. Got to 9.4 points. I did give him a push just because he got that $4,000 price tag, but still almost double-digit points. You really can't complain there. So a little bit of a hit-or-miss day yesterday. Unfortunately, the pitching didn't really work out, but it's just kind of a bunch of pitchers that weren't all that great altogether yesterday, so you're just kind of picking the right one, hoping you get lucky, essentially. But Cal Quantrill was the one that did look the best to me to start the day. Unfortunately, he got rained out yesterday. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to the core picks for today. So at the pitcher position, decided to pay down today with Dakota Hudson, $7,700, averaging just under 23 points on this season. When he's been good this year, he's been really good, and when he's been bad, not so great. But the thing with Dakota Hudson is if he can limit the hard contact, he's going to be very effective. If he can get a couple extra strikeouts. And it's also important to note that he's never faced these Tampa Bay hitters before, which typically advantage to the pitchers. So do like him as my paydown option today. If you do not want to pay down to Dakota Hudson, you can look at Carlos Rodon, $9,900, kind of a reduced price tag for him. I almost picked him as my core play. Just want to save a little bit of money, and then you could look all the way up to Alek Manoah at $11,000, looking pretty good against Kansas City as well. Then we moved on to second base with Ozzie Albies, $3,300, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. Goes against the Oakland A's and Cole Irvin today. He is 3 for 3 versus him in his career, so definitely a lot of upside there once again today. Starting to hit the ball a lot better than he was early on this season. Then at shortstop, I went with a paydown option here in Bryson Stott, $2,300, averaging just over 6 fantasy points per game on the season. He goes against fellow rookie Jason Alexander for the Milwaukee Brewers today. Obviously, he had a decent start against the Cubs in his first career start, but could be an advantage to the hitter here. I'm not sure if these two guys ever faced off in the minors, but Bryson Stott starting to hit the ball a little bit better as of late, double-digit points in like the last 4 games. Definitely do like the upside there for $2,300. Then we'll move down to our outfielders. Jordan Alvarez is the first one, $4,300. He's averaging over 13 fantasy points per game on the season. And, he's got pretty good history versus Chris Flexen, who is the starting pitcher today. 4 for 10 versus him with 2 home runs in his career, so definitely do love that upside today. Then last but not least, we have Teoscar Hernandez, $2,800, averaging over 8.5 fantasy points per game on the season. Kind of been hit or miss this year. As of late, he's been hitting the ball very, very well. So at $2,800, looks like a great price tag. He's 4 for 10 with 1 home run versus Brad Keller in his career, so definitely offers some upside as well. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do have here, you'll have $14,600 remaining, just over $3,600 per player, so definitely some room to pay up for guys. Ronald Acuna is another guy that looks very, very good today. He's 2 for 2 versus Cole Irvin in his career as well. So definitely looking at some of these Braves hitters. And with that being said, we'll get into the top GPP stacks for today. So like I was just mentioning, the Braves hitters are one of the ones that look really good for me today going against Cole Irvin of the Oakland A's. He's pitched reasonably well this year, but there is a lot of upside here. These hitters have hit him pretty good in the past as well. Then we have the Toronto Blue Jays versus Brad Keller. They have pretty decent history versus him in the past. He's a guy that's not going to strike out a lot of batters, so that's going to favor the Blue Jays altogether. And then once again, we have the Astros going against Chris Flexen. So this is kind of a hit or miss one. Chris Flexen did pitch well against them. I believe it was the last time out, but the first time these two teams faced this year, he got lit up pretty good. So I'm going to go with that Astros side once again. They definitely do have a very potent offense and can kind of go off on any given day. And with that same thought, we're going over to the Dodgers, going against Michael Kopech of the Chicago White Sox. Don't like picking on my Chicago White Sox, but the Dodgers have one of the better lineups in all of baseball and definitely do offer upside. Michael Kopech has never faced them before, so could be an advantage for the pitcher, but also could be an advantage towards their offense overall. But with that being said, these are my core 5 picks as well as top GPP stacks for today, June 7th. As always, if you have any questions related to MLB DFS, be sure to leave them down in the comments below and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, be sure to let me know your favorite play on tonight's slate, whether it's someone from my core 5 picks, whether it's someone from my top GPP stacks, or whether it's a completely different player you guys think I missed. Definitely interested in hearing what you have to say. But with that being said, if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS, whether it's MLB or USFL. Those are the two main ones at this point in time. Then once we get back around to the NFL and NBA regular seasons, I will be covering those sports as well. And then with that being said, if you are new or current subscribers yet to do so, also be sure to hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video. Like I've been saying, I post up daily MLB DFS videos just like this. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. And then last but not least, special little shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I truly do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Definitely means a lot to me, and I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.